my dears. My name is Emelina Calder. Welcome to I Am Woke. In today's video, we're going to talk about twin flame relationships or nonsense and all other things. I'm going to give you a trigger warning. I'm going to say some things that are on my mind because I have just completed my twin flame journey, and I've been watching a lot of things on YouTube and hearing what's going on in the YouTube multiverse about twin flames. There's a lot of confusion around twin flame relationships, and honestly, it's just like feeding the codependent princess savior complex save me narrative that is in the collective. If this is gonna piss you off, click off now, unsubscribe, don't worry about it, no harm, no foul. I'm just over being quiet about stuff. And the post that I posted on my community feed yesterday or something like that around twin flames was enough heat for me to be like, oh gosh, yeah, this needs to be spoken about. I don't really mind, obviously, I don't really mind if you guys agree with me or not. The beauty about having a YouTube platform is that I get to come on here and say things that are important to me and share them, and the people that want to resonate with it or that do resonate with it and want to continue to explore cosmic conversations with me can, and those that don't have to. And that's the beauty of it. If you don't like it, click off. If you don't like it, unsubscribe. If you don't like it, don't take things personally that are literally said in a one-way microphone between me and the universe on my YouTube channel. And I want to give another caveat, and then we'll jump into the other things too. If things I say trigger your belief systems and trigger you and make you cranky to the point where you would try to give me advice on my own channel about my own love life and you don't even know who I am, I would suggest that you sit down and figure out A, why you're triggered, B, work it through. You're triggered. So that's not really my problem. That's not something that you necessarily go onto somebody's YouTube channel and then start firing away why you're triggered. It's something that you sit with and say, wow, that triggered something in me. What am I defending? That must have come up against my ego. That's your work. That's not my work, sweetheart. My work is to get up on my little pedestal here, my little slice of the internet, and say the stuff I want to say, and that I'm inspired to say, and that spirit asks me to say. And my experience is valuable and authentic and is my experience. I'm not going to share the experience that anyone else has. It is my authentic experience. So likely it will not agree with you because it's my experience. I don't go around to other people's homes and go, you have to have the exact experience that I've had, otherwise I won't listen to you. Like, I'm here to reflect different ideas to you guys. I'm here to be a reflection. I am a mirror for you. The things that you like, the things that you don't like. And that's it. I'm not here to people please you. I'm not here to collect likes at the sake of trying to tell you what you want to hear when I know actually what you guys need to hear, which is the twin flame journey is nonsense, and we're going to go into it. I know because I've got an insane amount of experience and because I have had many clients come to me that get tied up in these really codependent relationships and very codependent, psychologically damaging, energetic relationships. And they're no less twin flame. They are twin flame relationships, and they're a fucking nightmare. Okay? So I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna slice some stuff up. I'm not telling you, those of you that want to stay in your twin flame relationships, if you think they're twin flames, enjoy them. It's serving a purpose for you. But it's not the end all be all, and it doesn't mean you should run out there. I see this a lot online, it drives me nuts. It doesn't mean you should run out there and try to recruit every other woman to now get into a very codependent twin flame relationship, because what it's gonna do is it's gonna tie up that woman's spiritual power, it's gonna keep her from moving forward, and it's gonna be feeding a man that's a freaking succubus on the other end. That is what the majority of these things are. I'm not telling you it's the end all be all. I'm not saying this is a permanent. Emelina said this is how it is. There are no exceptions. This is how it goes. I'm just talking on my slice of the internet from my slice of some pretty in-depth experience. And if it resonates with you and it helps you, great. Honestly, if somebody told me the stuff I'm gonna tell you guys in this video and or what I've been sharing across my videos years ago, I think it would have saved me years of my life. Like, years, okay? I have been through the ringer and back. All of my friends know this. When it comes to relationships, cosmic relationships, I channel them to the nth degree, and I might go through my twin flames. And yes, I have had 4 or 5. And actually even many more than that. I was reflecting back on this morning because they're not all romantic. And when we go into platonic, you can have many twin flames. All right, it depends on the level of your spiritual journey. My spiritual work has been insane. I have had to break huge shackles in this lifetime. So twin flames are the vehicle for me to learn, especially as a Libra. I'm a double Libra with a Libra moon. Libra moons learn through relationships. I have to be in relationships. So the universe gave me a lot of twin flames, okay? So, oh, I'm not trying to justify myself, sweetheart. I'm getting on here and using my platform exactly as it is meant to be used. And I've got all the fire, and I love that I'm here doing this, because if this pisses any of you off, unsubscribe. Peace. I am not people pleasing anymore. I have completed my twin flame journey, which has completed all of the people pleasing and codependency. If you are wondering what codependency is, or you think it's not codependency, I highly suggest you start researching codependency, because I don't think I've met a couple that is not codependent. They are all to varying degrees. It's just about being aware and attentive to which degrees, how you people please, how you meet the needs of your partner, how they meet your needs. It's no discredit to healthy relationships. We're all working things through in one way or another. I'm taking a specific angle right now, and I'm very animated about my angle, because I don't wish to wash out a message to people please the internet. Like, and for some of you, I'm literally thinking for myself, I'm like, if I delivered this message to myself 5 years ago, I'm like, oh my gosh, I would have been thrilled to have heard it. I would have been like, thank God somebody's being real with me. There's too much stuff running around on the internet about twin flames. It is selling a codependent relationship to people that don't know any better. The second you call in twin flames, your voice, you manifesting twin flame is a specific thing, and I'm telling you, you might not want it. You might just want a really healthy, beautiful relationship. When you attach to the idea of a twin flame, what you're calling in psychologically, psychically, at the collective level has such an intensity. And at this point, with the amount of awareness that's around it, such a sticky, there's like a succubus energy on it at the collective level. I would suggest not even attaching to the term twin flame. You could say soulmate. That's actually less, that's got less stuff on it now. It used to be soulmate was an issue, and then people moved to twin flames. Excuse me, through the years. At the collective level, twin flame is a very, very messy term. It calls in an energy. I'm actually watching the energetics on it. It calls in an energy that has lower vibrational timelines attached to it that pull in lower level entity types. Now, again, if this doesn't resonate with you, click off, unsub, like, don't worry about it. If you want to hear more from animated Emelina, she's going to be animated a lot more. This is a very different style teaching session. We're going to try it because I have nothing to lose. I have everything to gain by being myself. And that is a permission slip for all of you that need it. You have nothing to lose. You have everything to gain by being transparent, by being yourself, by being authentic. And this is the authentic me. So if you don't like it, get off. If you love it, stay, subscribe. Hopefully I go viral with a video like this. How freaking hilarious would that be? Okay, if you're new to my, what's up? Emelina Coulter here. I am a psychic, a cosmic shaman, an Akashic records reader, teacher, practitioner, guide, a life coach. I've been doing this ish for like 15 years, a very, very long time. And I typically post on spiritual and personal development, as well as energy updates every week. The Akashic records, the halls of a mentee have been getting my attention a lot. We're recently channeling that through for you guys. So I hope you break the mold. Get out of the past paradigm of what you think you're here to live, and to like actually break the mold, break free of whatever shackles have been holding you back in every single way, which involves being a pioneer and a maverick. If that's not your vibe, I'm not going to be your vibe. If that sounds like your vibe and you feel like you're a rebel, I'm going to be your vibe. So we'll run together. That's what I got for you there. I also do have a twin flame free video training. I've been doing a lot of education on twin flame relationships, on how to identify them, on how to understand them, on how to move through them. They serve their purpose. We'll get into it as much as I can anyway in this video. Anyway, so that link is tagged in the description below. That is free. Enjoy that. I think it's 12 different videos. I'm so excited, you guys. I've been moving through my own personal growth work, just waiting for something to get me saucy, because this is who I really am. I've had to be so passively like neutral for such a long time because of the work that I do. And because when you don't know, you don't know yet. Like, you know, I've spent so much time channeling transmissions around relationships for well over a decade. And because I left a twin 3 years ago, we parted ways. I've been in a very, very robust ascension process with relationship. And it's been because of the strength of my spiritual power. I'm not dating humans. Like, it's strong soulmate after strong soulmate after strong soulmate. When you're in the position of work that I am in and you're as cosmically aware as I am, there is no more work to do but draw in twins. And each of those twins is codependent because humans are codependent. That's how the work goes. So, again, take what you love, leave the rest. I'm here to be a reflection and to share my ideas that are important to me. And this is important to me. And I know it's important to a lot of you as well. I also know that those of you that are healthy will realize that I have a body of work. And if you follow the body of work, likely you'll find what you need, and that there's no one video that's going to like be crazy or anything, or don't isolate one video out of my work unless you're following the entire body of work. Okay, so what do I want to say here? Twin flames. We'll talk about it as a journey. The twin flame journey is not attached to a person, okay? It is not a single person thing. There is no official one single twin flame. It doesn't really exist. I've channeled endlessly on this. Divine Mother told me that twin flame relationships, what people think or consider of them, where there is one other half of your soul that is birthed with your soul, do they exist? Yes. The soul, when the soul is birthed, it births into 12 parts, and then of those 12, they split off into another 12. There are 24 components that include masculine and feminine components. It is not only rare, it can't really happen from my channeling experience, my transmissions, and my spiritual work, for twins to actually incarnate together in that way, because they would combust. The amount of power that comes to that level, what's been told to me at the cosmic level, again from Divine Mother, is that it would blow up the planet. It would blow people up. It doesn't exist. Here's what does exist. Safer soulmate, deep soulmate relationships that mirror and reflect and refine and are like a very similar vibrational frequency to your own. Okay, there's no one of that. We are given many. In fact, in the halls of a mentee, when we write up our contracts with the soulmates that we're going to have encounters with down here before we come down here, and that's not an end all be all either. We plan things before we come down. We live through those things that we plan. And then while we're down here, there's a lot of psychic communication going around through the God network, I'll call it, through the force of life, where we're planning new encounters with new soulmates. Here's the deal. You have a lot of people at any one time that can fit your soul frequency. We have many, 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 many soul ties. You have likely more than one twin flame. Because when we break it down, it's less about even thinking there's another person that is another half of your soul and you can only have this one shot. Like, even that is codependent. It is selling and I don't even care if people disagree with me, okay? There are a lot of practitioners like myself that have the amount of experience that I have, and we're all saying the same thing. You just haven't caught up on it yet because it's not as salesy, it's not as fun. People love to buy into the matrix of like, twin flames are this thing exactly, and they're so sexy, and you have to fall in love with it. I've been watching a lot of twin flame videos on the internet, okay? I've been watching these twin flame coaches, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are just teaching women to cling to men and then to manifest them back into their lives when those men never wanted to be in their lives. Or it's like, it wasn't healthy. Or you're like, it's like, we're practicing detachment so that we can reunite, bring them back in. And it's like, oh my God, release them. Release them out. It doesn't matter. Are they karmic or are they twins? They're all of it. There is no relationship you will get into in this life as a human that is not karmic. Glass shatter. If I was editing this, I would glass shattering right now, okay? They're all fucking karmic. You can't get out of it. The thing is, to which degree of karma? There are more that are more karmic, more that are less karmic. Ultimately, karma is cause and effect. Every relationship has a push and pull. It is a dynamic. It is going to have cause and effect. It has to. So the point is, with that cause and effect, are you healing things together? Are you working together? Or are you destroying each other? And sometimes you don't know you're destroying each other until you've been destroyed. Now, let me think about some constructive things I might want to say on this. Twin flame relationships, I'm going to try to break this down in a few ways. One, they are not, they're not an official like one thing. They are a type of relationship contract. You could think about it literally like in terms of law, like there is contract law, like business law, there is civil law, there are different types of law, right? Okay? Cosmic relationships, soulmates. There are twin flame contracts. There are true love contracts, which are an alteration on a twin flame contract, but I would not put them into the twin flame category. It's a version of, just like how when we have business law, their contract law falls under business law. Like, okay. So then there are soulmate relationships that can go in a number of directions, both platonic and romantic. Twin flame relationships can be platonic as well, or romantic. They don't have to be romantic. And just because you're in front of a romantic partner doesn't mean they're a twin. Again, it's a type of contract. There are blends of them. Most of you are in that select into twin flame contracts are in karmic twin flame contracts. It is superbly rare to be in something that is not working out a karmic relationship. Because you are human, because there is karma, because you have generational karma, you have karma from your ancestors, you have karma from the people that literally raised you, you have karma from your cultural programming, and you have your personal karma. That all gets worked through relational healing. You will not understand your karma, your choices, and the choices that came before you to decide who you're going to become and what you believe without a relation to reflect the choices back to you. It's not possible. You can't grow in a vacuum. Relational healing happens in relationship. So all relationships are karmic. Get over it. Let's throw that out the window. I'm done trying to be like, is this karmic? Is this something? They're all karmic. It doesn't matter. It's just semantics, you guys. It doesn't matter. The point is, what are you learning and do you like it? And is it constructive? And is it healthy? Or do you need to make a quick exit? Or does it have a time period? Like, I can't even tell you how many, I know a lot of clients and even friends in their 50s that have worked through, and they've been in and out of twin flame relationships. I have a couple of good friends that have gone through a number of twins as well, because when you're in high levels of spiritual work, when you are actively channeling, when you're actively a shaman, I do literally have, hold on, I'm thinking through my coaches too. A lot of us have a lot of twins because it's a type of contract. The idea of this isn't any shade to anyone that is in this contract, this sort of relationship. Those of you that are won't even argue with me because you'll be like, I'm in love with my partner. We've been together for 30 years. I'm like, great for you. Like there won't even be any pushback. The ones that push back on what I say are the ones that are already confused about their relationships. And that's like, welcome to being human. We're all confused about our relationships. You know why? Because we're confused about ourselves. You're supposed to have people in front of you that reflect you back to you, that make you question who you are. Like, it is literally what you're supposed to do here. Anyway, I feel so free just speaking the truth right now. This is the truth. This is not Emelina's truth. This is the truth. I know my guide sent that through a couple of days ago, and now I'm realizing why. Because I'm like, oh, you told me to stop people pleasing. Great, I'm done. I was pretty much done to begin with, but now I'm really done. Find a Libra that doesn't people please. Jesus. I have an Aries North node though. So y'all, I'm like constantly working my fire. Okay, so let's step back. What was I saying? Twin flames are a type of contract from my experience. Again, if you don't agree, don't worry about it. Also, no need to argue with me. Go watch somebody else's video. This is literally my experience, is what I've coached people through, and all of the shamans that do very similar work to what I do that I would trust all have said a very similar thing. We're all on the same boat. So this is the experience. Twin flames are a type of contract. They are, and they're not always romantic, they are where you select to engage in relationship with someone that is a deep soulmate with high likeness to your core vibrational soul frequency. Again, we have hundreds of them on the planet at any one time. I can account 12 off the top of my mind right now who have a very similar soul frequency to me, because like attracts like. The law of attraction will bring people just like you to you. We're all connected to one degree or another. Depending on the lesson you need, you end up jumping onto the timeline where that soulmate is available for you to reflect the lessons that you need back to you. Also, I want to sidestep for a second because I've been seeing videos on the internet recently, thanks YouTube for inspiring me and pissing me off, that have been saying, what happens if your twin flame is in a marriage? Whoa. Like, they're not your twin. Stop it. Like, what do we need to do here? When did it be okay for people on the internet to drip out like lifestyles of the rich and famous, like, and make it like spiritual? Like, it's like ridiculous. Or like Melrose Place. Do you guys remember those soap operas in the 90s? That's what I feel like has happened, is people took like that soap opera like drama, like, oh my god, oh, my twin flame is married, I'm so conflicted. It's like, no, you're codependent. Like, snap out of it. Stop it. That's not your person. If they're married, that's not your person. Why are you chasing someone unavailable and now you're engaging in adultery? Like, stop it. Get some morals and values. Again, if this is offensive, sorry, not sorry. I think those are, I don't think the people that are healthy are going to know where I'm going with this, and they'll probably find me amusing. They'll be like, thank God Emelina like took the seriousness out of herself and went wild. Like, thank God. Also, I'm like, if this is my degree of wild, like, we need to up the ante a little bit. Like, I'll shut that thought down. It's not appropriate for YouTube. Now that I'm advertising. Okay. But in all seriousness, like, I've been seeing a lot of videos and stuff that are like, what happens when your twin flame is married? Like, how do you get them out of the marriage? How do you get them back? And I'm just like, what is going on, internet? Stop it. Do not go breaking up people's relationships because you think they're your twin. They might be a soulmate, but guess what? We have a lot of soulmates. Like, okay, so my last long-term relationship, we had a very, very deep soul tie, and we were in a twin contract. But I also met other soulmates, and that didn't mean I was running out of the relationship. I'm incredibly loyal, and so is my partner. Like, there's no like, oh, there's another soulmate, I have to exit now. Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Stay in your lane. Like, I don't know if y'all are just like not having enough sex or like what is going on. This is only for a certain type of crowd that are following those videos, by the way. Some of you won't even see them, but I've just been seeing so many of them recently. I'm like, I need to tackle this stuff. Like, I can't, like stop it. Adultery is not okay. Like, that's not an okay thing. The amount of karma you rack up when you do that, like, just stop. Just call in a soulmate who's available. They're here. They're here, they're on the grid, but you'd have to release the codependent patterns, and that's an entire spiritual process that leads you to chasing certain people that are unavailable in certain ways, or what have you. It's usually induced by childhood trauma. Okay, so the twin contract. What is a twin contract? Let me, do I have my pen? I don't. One, they are spiritual growth modules. Whether romantic or platonic, it is there specifically for spiritual growth and for a specific type of spiritual growth. These are what I would call like ascension curriculums. Okay. They are active, engaged, and deep bonded relationships. They are frequently trauma bonds. Like 90% of the time, twin relationships are trauma bonds. It is very, very delicate to get out of a trauma bond because there's trauma at the multidimensional level with past lives and in this life from childhood. So what happens with the bonding is you bond in this life, but the trauma bond, which creates severe codependency, bonds spiritually, because whatever you're working out here is like 10x across your past life experience. That's why I say that twin flame relationships are highly codependent energetic relationships, because you're not even just dealing with the one-to-one what's going on down here. And again, they're frequently trauma bonds. You're dealing with the trauma bonds of whatever the hell you've lived in multiple lifetimes, and all of that energy is coming in now, and you can energetically trauma bond subconsciously without even knowing it, because you're carrying a lot of past life experience with the same person. It's wild. They are codependent. What else will I touch on? Someone said recently they are unconditional loving relationships. I have a lot to say on this that probably nobody will agree with me on, and I don't care. I don't know that there's a single human on this planet that understands unconditional love. I think it's something we're all working at. I think it's something we're all trying, I think those of us that choose and select to work at it. And I think we're trying. I think the idea of a true love contract, I'm separating it from twin flame because twin flame has a lot of weird karmic low level attachments at the human collective in the ether. It's like a really weird mixed bag, and this is why you'll see so many spiritual practitioners like being like, twin flame, no, get it out of here. Like most of us are like, no, I don't want to talk about it, because there are too many entity types attaching to that term. What I would say is true love contracts are a separate sort of thing. They're not necessarily twin flames, okay? It's a sort of contract. I do feel like the point of a twin flame growth journey, there are many points. I do feel like one of them is reflecting all of the ways that you're not loving back and forth, or not loved, or codependency is not loving. It's a grasping for a need so that that need is met. It's literally conditional. I do believe that many people in these sorts of relationships are working to learn how to love better. I don't know how else we'd be human. I don't think we're perfect lovers down here. I think the Pleiadians do a lot better than us. I think a lot of races do better than us. Humans are very, very volatile in their relationships. We're explosive about our relationships. You know, when I've channeled at the multidimensional level with Divine Mother, when she's told me, she's like, Emelina, if you were not incarnated as a human, romantic relationships would be so easy. She's like, I was like, what do you mean? Tell me about human romance. And she was like, humans? Oh my God. She was like, it's like a borderline nightmare trying to get you guys lined up together down here. It's like the mating ritual is insane. And she's explained a lot to me around that, so I have an understanding of it. But the point is, human relationships are volatile. Humans have to learn unconditional love. And even when we learn it, we're still going to screw it up. We're not perfect. That's the point of being human. The point of being human is, I'm starting to gather more understanding cosmically on this. So I'm going to shoot a couple more ideas out that I've been working through. I think Earth is the shadow of the universe. We will go into that in another video that I'll probably do a full-on channel to see what all of my guidance structures have to say about it. But I think the subconscious shadow of the entire universe is Earth. Excuse me, I'm moving so much energy through. So I think that everything that the universe is trying to work through at the multidimensional level, all the subconscious ideas and patterns, are on Earth, because Earth is like the dumbed down. It's like the dumbest of all of the, not life forms, but like all of the kind of, all of the, we're the 3D. We're literally the most dense, the least awake. So I think that the universe is actually working out, all the different entity types, entity groups are working out their understanding of what's been hiding in the dark and in the shadows for them based on how we function on Earth. Because we're like the ants, like punching each other's lights out down here. Every species that's in the universe lives here, okay? If you want to see, you go check out an eagle, and then a black widow, and then a praying mantis, and then a lion, and a cat, and then you've got a human, and then you've got like giant people, like in Norse mythology, and you've got, I don't know, there's so many different, my point to that are the giants, right? There are so many different life forms. All of the life forms that exist in the universe exist on Earth. This was a test project where larger councils in the universe, like this has been a project for eons, they created Earth as a test project to bring all of the different life forms in the universe together to see if they could get along together. And they took the spiders, shrunk them down. Spiders are huge, by the way. They took the mantis, they shrunk them down. Manti, is that how you say it? I feel like once, oh yeah, they're here. The mantis races are the architects of the universe. They made them very, very small. They're huge when they come to me and speak to me. They're like taller than buildings. Anyway, circling back, I'm going on my long trains of thought. So yes, I do think that the point of these higher level relationships, soulmate, we'll call them deep soulmate bonded relationships, is to discover, understand conditional love, and is to practice unconditional love. But do I think anyone is unconditional loving? No, I don't. I think we're the ones that want to figure it out are actively in practice of learning how to love better. I think that's all of us. I think that is the bar. I don't think anyone actually knows. I think everyone's trying to figure it out. And I think if we were to look at the world from that perspective of like everybody's trying to figure it out, I think things would be a lot easier. So that's what I have to say on that. Okay, let me think about what else are twin flames? They're a type of contract. They're spiritual growth modules. The purpose of a twin flame contract is not romantic. They can be romantic if that is how you best learn, or if it's the only way that your higher self can get you to actually do your spiritual work. And if you are of the level of a twin flame contract, like that's how you learn, because they are more accelerated spiritual growth work. That means there could be a lot more problems as well. Accelerated spiritual growth work generally means crisis and trauma, okay? So take that as you will. I wouldn't go out into your manifestations trying to manifest a twin flame relationship. That's what I'm trying to say right now. I would try to manifest a really healthy, loving, deeply beautiful, soul-bonded soulmate. I don't know how else to say that. I gotta get around the collective words. I've been calling them true love contracts. I would ask for a true love contract. A true love contract would come with a soulmate. And if we were putting some additional terms based on all the experience I have, I would also ask for a soulmate that you don't have past lives with. I would ask for someone new, because the past life stuff is crazy. It'll take somebody that's a beautiful soul bond and it makes it karmic. So for those of you that are like, oh, it's karmic versus twin flame. No, it's all karmic, sweetheart. It's all karmic. Unless you meet someone who you don't have karma with, who you haven't incarnated with in other lifetimes in other ways. Those are possible. I haven't met one yet, but I think it's also because I've been so sticky in the familiar, like I've wanted familiar souls. Now I'm willing to explore that. I'm like, you know what? I'm done with the familiar soul. So I don't know, bring in some new contracts for me. People I haven't met in this life, in any life yet. How fun would that be? Even as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, that kind of is like love at first sight. That'd be really great. Cause like, I don't know them yet. Oh, that sounds fun. So, oh gosh, where do I want to go with this? I'm mostly saying all of this because it's just getting way too popularized to be like calling in a twin flame union. It's like, just stop. Honestly, I've been through many of them. They're kind of nightmares. just call in a true love contract and work on yourself until you're prepared to receive that. Now, I'm going to talk about another purpose of twin flame contracts, because all of my guides came to me last week and said, Emelina, your twin flame journey is complete. And like I've said, I've probably got a dozen twin flames. A little less than half of them were romantic. And I've got some active twins around me that reflect things to me that we're in deep friendships that are there for a spiritual purpose. And they know that they're twins as well. Oh, beautiful. So, okay, hang on. What was I saying on that? That was a good point I wanted to touch on. Twins are, type of contract. Okay, so the purpose of the twin flame journey, for those of you that really, really need to hear it, and I wouldn't have known this without going through it myself. One is self-love. The purpose of a twin flame journey is to learn how to love the self, and then to learn how to love others in relationship to the self by meeting the needs of the self first. Not to be confused with narcissism, by the way. The purpose of the twin flame journey is to merge in union with your twin flame. Stay with me. I'm not taking this where you think I'm going. Okay. It is not about another human. And I know this because of my work. I merged with my soul last week completely and took my vows of faith. I didn't realize what a soul merge was. We contextualize it here in this time-space dimensional reality as thinking that it is another lover in front of us that we're merging with. Can that be a thing? Yes, it can, but it is not the purpose of a twin flame journey. That is like, enjoy your romance. Like, enjoy it. Like they're like, oh, great, be in pleasure, enjoy yourself. You know, like it's a different thing. Just enjoy being in relationship. But the purpose of a twin flame journey is to merge your higher self with your lower self. It is a personal journey that is, nobody would buy into it at the human collective level early on without a sexual romantic partner. Like that's the only way that people will, because of how humans are, our higher selves know that, and they go, they're only gonna do shit if they have heavy attraction and chemistry. So then they'll find another soulmate on the grid who's got a really deep connection to you and likely many past life connections to you. And they'll plant them in front of you or near you or whatever, or give you the love at first sight, the whole thing that's supercharged, because it happens. So like twin flame relationships are really very passionate, like very charged. And then because of how charged they are, we buy into it. And we're like, oh, I have to have that person now. I have to. And it's like, oh shit, I have to work all this out. I have to work this out about myself. And you become willing to do your spiritual work because there's a sense of attraction in front of you. Let me circle back again. Okay, what was I thinking on that? The soul merging. The original twin flame journey, the purpose of all of these twin contracts, twin journeys, twin romantic relationships, and the platonic ones, is to teach you who you are and refine your fire until you have the level of self-control and understanding where you have merged and given up to your higher power. You get your ego out of the way and you merge with your higher power. You merge with your higher self, and your higher self takes over as the original twin. The higher self is your twin, not another person outside of you. They are just a reflection of that until you come back to your source connection and take it out of the reflection of the external world, because it was never about the external world. It was always about your connection to God. It was always about your connection to source. It was always about you filling up your own cup through your own connection. Since I merged with my soul last week, I'm just being transparent with you guys. I'm always in dialogue with my soul, but there was a full merge I had last week. My guides came in and they said, you are done with your twin flame journey. There is no more twin flame journey for you. You took your vows at the soul level. I gave up my ego. My ego now submits to my soul. Since then, I kid you not, like, I'm like romantically satiated. I'm like, I don't need anyone. Like, I'm good. If they want to come, fine. But there's no longing out of me that there was before. And I'm just transparently explaining it because I know some of you will need this or understand it to one level. Like, if you're longing for another human to be with you, it's because you're not with you. That is not like a mean negative statement. It's like literally we are all just trying to find our way back to our own source connection. We're all just trying to release the shackles of codependency, because they're real for every single human on this planet, and come back to our original source connection where we don't need to people please, where we don't need external validation, where we don't need other people's approval in order to feel good about ourselves, in order to feel like we are fed internally, emotionally loved. Because it's not about the humans. That's the whole point of this journey. It's never been about the humans. It's always your connection to yourself. It's always your connection to your higher power, your higher purpose, your higher self. It's always your direct connection to your soul and how much of your soul you are transmitting through your humanity, through your experience, which is all about being authentic. The purpose of these twin flame contracts are to reflect your inauthentic parts of yourself back to you, as well as your authentic parts of yourself back to you, to give you a choice about whether or not you're going to continue to try to seek approval from others externally through validation so that you can feel good about yourself, or if you could just feel good about yourself and allow that reflection to give you what you need for love and support to then stand rooted in your power and say, this is who I am. I'm going to be authentic. I'm going to love myself no matter what. And I really do, to give myself props, I think I'm doing a great job in this video of showing that. It's about being in your power. It's about being with your higher self. That the whole twin flame it's merged. There are two flames. There's the flame here in your body, and there's the flame of your soul. And it's merging them. That's the purpose of a twin flame journey. Okay? Separate to that, enjoy your romantic relationships. like, I'm just playing in the gray space because I like to, and because I'm confident in this arena. Now, more on twin flames. Let's go through it. I really think you guys are gonna love my training too. I've got like 12 videos. This will be the 13th video in said training, and I will go through the comments after as well. I'm kind of excited to see. I'm sure there's some shade and some love, as with everything, right? What did I write on here? I said, stop being short-sighted. That's what I want to say to people when I hear all the twin flame stuff. And those of you that have worked with me know I have so much patience in this territory, because it really is, I'm being very flamboyant right now because I feel like I need to, but twin flame stuff is very, very toxic, very delicate. There are, and this is typically on the female side. I don't know for men specifically. It's just not my experience to work with them on this. But for women with these highly psychic soulmate connections that are typically what I would label them as twin flame connections, there's a sharing of emotions that is going on behind the scenes. There's a sharing of telepathy. There is, even that's enough. There's a sharing of energy. There's a merged energy body of the relationship between the two humans. And then honestly, most of the men, and this is like, I'm making generalizations, but I have experience in this. This is my angle, okay? So just, if it doesn't fit your experience, don't take it, all right? There are many angles to this conversation. My angle, my understanding is that, well, there's a number of things. One, when it comes to soulmate relationships, women lead. Period. End of story. Women are leading. The men are not leading. Okay. The men follow. Generally speaking, women lead energetically. They lead spiritually. They lead emotionally. And then once the men get on board, based on the permission from the women, then the men start to lead physically into relationship and elevating relationship physically. If the men aren't doing that, they're either not mature enough, which most of the men on the planet aren't, no shade, but there's a catch-up. You guys will see this, and I'm not the only one who's talking about this either. There's a catch-up process happening right now with the masculine collective, where there aren't quite enough divine masculines that actually understand this, because the collective of humanity and culturally has dumbed them down on purpose so that they don't understand their spiritual power. So as women are continually growing in spiritual power, there's a huge gap between the men and the women. That's part of the struggle that we have, and why people like me are trying to educate as quickly as we can and help both sides of it. It's just kind of where it's at. Okay, let me think about where I wanted to go from there. Sometimes it's just easier to shoot videos and edit them, because then I could edit out these gaps and make it more seamless. But then I have to like actually plan, and I haven't been able to have enough time. Anyway, thanks for being here with me, listening to the full process. Where else did I want to go with that? With men and women. The women are leading. What I think is really beautiful is I think that there are going to be a lot more of these sorts of healthy relationships in the future on this planet. I think we're trying to figure it out. I think that's why there's so much chatter about twin flames on the internet, and why it's growing is because I think there's a need for healthy, energetic soulmate relationships. And I don't think we have very many models as far as what that looks like and how to work through it, because you could have a healthy physical relationship, but energetically it could be an effing nightmare, and highly codependent, because the people that are in the relationship have to be conscious, completely conscious, physically, emotionally, high emotional IQ, mentally, and then also spiritually. And most people are not conscious in all four subtle bodies. They're conscious at one or two. So what happens energetically is a lot of these relationships, again, just making the sweeping statements, the women are highly psychic. When you're matched with a highly psychic man, they are typically, because the men's ego is running the show so much more than women, it's just how the human operating system is, they typically deny the connection. It is very standard. Like, I can't even tell. I've actually heard some men that are psychic also say the same thing about some women as well. I just don't have as much experience on that side. But there's typically a denial. So then the energy keeps running, because then typically the women get confused, but it could be both genders, because they're trying to honor the energy, because it's real, it's deep, it's a bond, it's amazing, it's beautiful, but it turns codependent very quickly. I have been coaching women that are in twin flame energetic relationships that haven't spoken to these people in 2 to 4 years, some more, some less. It depends on where it is. And when I look through the contracts and I go into the Akashic records, these are twin flame relationships. They are not, there's no, like, these women are, like, what they're doing, what they're struggling with is very, very, very real, but nobody's talking about it. It's like, it's a form of energetic gaslighting. It's a form of energetic codependency, which then makes it really difficult to show up without codependency physically. There are a lot of effects to these things. I'm just doing my best to start breaking open the conversation so we can start talking about it. Because if someone was able to explain this to me like 5 or 6 years ago, my life would have been much better. I've had multiple people ask me to write a book on this already. It's being prepared. One day she will write a book on cosmic relationships, the human guide to cosmic relationships. Because I've been actually through these sorts of relationships a number of times. So both physical twins as well as the energetic ones, blends of them. I'm thankful for all of the experiences because I can speak to all of the subtleties of this conversation, and I'm happy to, whether or not it's popular. The beauty about this sort of spiritual work that I do when you're in integrity is I don't need to tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to tell you what you need to hear, and then allow you to discern for yourself, like what's for you and what's not, what you like, what's not, and for you to actually just take charge over your own life and make choices and decisions for yourself. That's what I'm here to do. Okay, what else did I want to say on this? I really want to press on the twins not always being romantic. I have some twins that are not romantic, that are platonic. Some have been chosen, like there was an option for a romantic and we decided to sidestep it because there were pretty significant, oh my gosh, what do you call it? There wasn't a good fit. Physically, I forget what that word is. Anyway, I have others that were just so clearly platonic and they're still in my life, and their twinning mirroring ability is just as powerful as the romantic ones. It's just a little more palatable because it's not also pulling on all of my sexual energy. I do think frequently if we can move twin flame contracts into platonic contracts, I think that they're better. And by better, I mean that's relative. I think they're easier to work through. I think the second you introduce sexual dynamics, energy gets very sticky because you're exchanging karma sexually, which creates a lot of momentum energetically. And most times with most people I've encountered that are in these sorts of relationships, the momentum gets faster and snowballs ahead of the ability to mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually process the information, which then makes it toxic because neither party actually knows what's going on. It creates a lot of hot-cold dynamics. It creates a lot of runner-chaser dynamics because the momentum of the spiritual bond went faster than what the humans can digest. I think if you do self-select into a twin flame union and you are not married yet, I would suggest slowing it down. Slow. Go slow. One of my dear friends, who is a twin of mine, is married to a twin. A soulmate, they're in a true love contract. I would not typically throw them into the typical idea of a twin flame contract. They are in a true love contract. And there are many things. I'm going to bring her on my channel at some point so we can hash some of this stuff out for you guys to hear. There are a lot of things that she did that are very unpopular. And she tells women all the time. She's like, because women like compliment her all the time. They're like, oh my God, you guys love each other so much. And she's like, yeah, like this is a real deal. And women are like, oh my gosh, how do I get that? And she's like, you're not going to want to hear what I have to say to you. You know, like she went through an entire process, very, very spiritual process. And she did not commit into the trauma bonding. She knew ahead of time. She told me, she was like, I know that I trauma bond quickly. She and I have very similar experiences, like just very deep childhood wounds and stuff. Big terrible things that happened in teens and everything. So she chose not to have sex with him before they got married. She said that in itself slowed, and she doesn't recommend that for everybody, but she was like, that's what she needed, because otherwise she knew she was going to trauma bond in. And he agreed to that as well, and that slowed the entire relationship down to the point where they could keep the amount of spiritual momentum that was building, they could keep the pace. She also did a metric F ton of fasting because she knew anytime something started to run out of control between them, she was fasting, water fasting, for 24 to 48 hours to clear it spiritually, because it can cause a lot of toxic, codependent stuff. And by a lot of grace, she knew a lot of this as far as like just how spiritual she is, how religious she is. She was like, I will fast, like anything, whenever something becomes very difficult, I'm going to fast and give it to God. And that's how she would give it to God. And she walked me through all these different elements of her relationship. And I was like, yeah, women don't want to hear that. Like, you got to do a lot of fasting. Don't have sex. Slow it down. Like, also don't take control of the relationship, but also know you're in control of the relationship. Women hold the power in the relationship. Always. Anyone that says anything else is just like, it's nonsense. Women are the ones that say yes. Women are the ones that are giving permission. Women are leading. How it's led physically frequently is led by the male. but the women are leading. The women are giving the permission. If the women aren't giving the permission, they're being raped. Like, it's like you're giving permission. If you're not giving permission, then you need to slow yourself down and say, what am I giving permission to? And if I'm not, why am I running on some sort of autopilot and being unconscious? And can I slow that down and bring some consciousness to it to make sure that I'm giving permission to the things that are happening in my life and my body and my relationship and how I'm engaging? Okay, I think I'm pretty much gonna wrap it there. I feel like the energy moved all the way through. I hope this is like entertaining for you guys. I know some of you guys that know me will be like, or that enjoy shit like this will just be like, yeah, Melina, thanks for just like doing your thing. Feeding the conversation with some sanity. Oh my gosh. But what I would say is, you know, if we take some of the stigma out of this stuff, it's like we're all in codependent relationships. There's the codependency aspect, okay? And we're all learning how to not be codependent. That's like very human, okay? Then there's the idea of love. Unconditional love versus conditional love. You're always gonna have both. Nobody is so perfect that they're only unconditional loving. Like that's nonsense. So it's like understanding the gray zone of, you know, if you're in a good, healthy relationship, does it matter whether or not it's a twin? No. I think most of you are just looking for healthy, loving, beautiful, romantic relationships with good chemistry, you know? Like, does it have to be a twin flame? Do you have to label it to feel good about it and to feel like you have the right partner? I don't know. I mean, I would take you to, I would tell you to take a look at it and see why do you have to label it or feel, I don't know, like, oh, I can only speak this way because I have so much experience for being so attached to it, you know? It's like, it like takes a lot of experience to be able to say what I'm saying right now. So anyway, yeah, the aspect of conditional versus unconditional love, I think the point of any good, any healthy relationship is to explore how to be more loving, how to learn how to love someone in the way that they want to be loved, how to love in the way that you also want to love, how to receive love in the way that you want to receive love, how to ask for those needs to be met, and how to identify when you're not being loved the way you don't want to be loved, how to give permission, how to engage. It's a dance. It's beautiful. Whether or not you call it a twin flame contract, I don't think it matters. I think the point is it healthy? Does it feel good? Are you working through the codependent patterns? Are you embracing aspects of learning how to love yourself more, learning how to love another more? Does it feel good? Does it feel healthy? Is it constructive or is it destructive? You will know. And many soulmate relationships are constructive for a certain period of time. But because they're growth modules, at some point, if you've got any two humans together, you're going to grow, okay? You're going to grow. You're either going to grow together or you're going to grow apart. And I think you're meeting a different version of your partner every 5 to 7 years. Sometimes less. People that meet me, they see a big shift every 2 years. That's got to be frustrating. I don't know. I don't really care. I think they should just keep up. And I think some of them do. And I keep phases in with people around me. And, you know, some do keep up and then some don't. And then I go to the next set, the next group of soulmates. And then, you know, then we come back. Everybody always cycles back in with me somehow. And then, you know, I don't know. It's like this. I'm just looking for a reason to dance and blend. Okay, so yeah, the codependency side, then there's the loving and unconditionally loving side, and then there's compatibility. That's the word I was looking for earlier. Compatibility. Do you like the sort of relationship that it is? Does the age gap feel good to you? I don't like dating older men, and I've started making some adjustments. I actually don't like dating men that are that much older than me at all. I actually like people around my age or even younger. It's like, you know, you start to create preferences, and it's like, what do I like? What's the compatibility? Because there are certain things that come with certain things in your love life that may enhance your compatibility or detract to like how you're handling your life. Age gaps are a big thing in that. Career, values. You know, there are a lot of twin flame relationships where the women are highly spiritual and highly psychic and the men are totally tuned out and numb. I've met countless of them. Like, it's a very standard relationship trope, also for twin flame contracts. So it's like, well, do you like that? You could be in a twin flame relationship that's like that, or the compatibility side of this, again, is making decisions. Do I like that? At this point, I need a partner who sees the way that I see. I need a partner who understands the level of spirituality that I do. But that wasn't always the case. Earlier in my life, I had a partner that didn't, but that was like kind of on board, like a little bit. But like, you know, past that, it was like whatever. He was like, she's crazy sometimes. I'm not okay with that anymore. So you develop compatibility understanding. And in no way should you ever sacrifice your compatibility. My friend that I was just mentioning earlier, who is in a true love marriage, which she says to me all the time, and she's like, women sacrifice everything. And they're like, once they fall in love, like, oh my God, they'll take all the compatibility and throw it out the window. And what she was saying to me, she's like, the first thing that women need to do is realize you are entitled to be attracted to your man. Women fall in love all the time because they have sex early and then they emotionally bond. And then they fall in love with men that they are not attracted to. It is a standard trope. It is also a standard trope for soulmates, soulmate contracts. Women have to identify their needs, understand their compatibility, understand what they're attracted to, allow themselves to take it slow, because if you run too fast, women fall in love faster. It is part of how biology works at the chemical level, so that we can feel safe having babies. So there's an emotional bond that happens quickly. It happens through sex. So if you have sex faster than you're ready to bond, then you have to deal with a bond ahead of your attraction, which is very real. We'll get into that in another video. I don't know. It's also understanding not to settle. I don't know on the masculine side, but I'll say women settle like it's their job. It's crazy. Like, if the compatibility side on twin flames and on soulmate relationships, if there is something that is out of place, it's okay to let that person go. It's okay. Another one will come. We have more than enough soulmates. I promise. Like, literally, I don't know, like a year ago, my higher self told me this when I was coming to. It was like, oh, you're going to meet a doctor. My higher self was like, I know you like doctors. And I was like, I do. And then she's like, well, I have one coming. And she told me his name. And I was like, that's funny. And then I met him at a party. And I was like, oh. And then he started like playing with my energy. Like, literally, he was an energy worker as well as a physical doctor. And I was like, oh, that's so interesting. And I stopped myself and I completely shut this communication down with him, and told him very clearly that I wasn't interested, but I knew there was a soul bond. But I was like, I'm not attracted to him. Like, physical, there was no attraction. I was like, I'm not stepping anywhere near this. Like, we are not, absolutely not. And another soulmate came right behind it, like 3 weeks later. It's like, just you gotta trust. The compatibility is a huge aspect to these sorts of relationships. This is also for men, by the way. Like, you could meet a woman that's like a really great soul bond, but there could be major problems. And actually, my guides are pulling into me now. These people could be married. Like, don't mess with it. They could be too young. They could be too old. They could be, we have preferences. We have compatibility, and it matters. And our guides will meet us where we are. And the way that happens is by us encountering soulmates, us encountering twin flames, and saying, is this okay or is this not okay? When I was 19, I met my first romantic twin. And that was platonic. And when that shit hit the fan finally, because it did, like they do, when I was 21, the next romantic twin came in within 6 months after that one. And I was with him for 11 years. 6 months within a year. And then after I released him, we parted ways. The next twin came in a few months later. And then after that parted ways, and that was an energetic relationship. At some point, I will talk about that because I think it's I think it violated a lot of things, and I'd really like to educate women about that, because I know that I'm not the only one that experiences these relationships energetically, and I know a lot of women think they're nuts, and they're not. So at some point I will touch on after that one. I mean, I've been on this journey for a bit. Like, my guides know that I learned through bonds, through soul connections. So in my dating history over the last 2 years, I dated 6 to 8 soulmates. And I kind of just went through and was like, oh, I like this, I don't like this, I like this, I don't like this. He's really cool, but I'm not attracted. I also am bi, so I dated women as well. And I was like, she's really cool, but like, that's way too much. Like, that other shit's not gonna work for me. And there were a lot of trade-offs. And then I realized too, I was like, you know, even though I am bi, I really do prefer men most of the time. So I was like, I'm just gonna lock into that, because it started getting very complicated for me, trying to handle both male and female soulmates. I was like, it's too much. It's too much. There are too many lessons. I can't sync up to all of it. So I chose a lane. Not everybody has to choose a lane, but I chose a lane. I was like, it's just too much for me. But anyway, they come quickly for me. The more authentic you are, and the stronger you are about your standards, like being uncompromising and unwavering with the universe, the faster the right people will come in and meet you. The faster the universe will draw them in towards you. There's also a readiness as well. So if you've got personal work to do, you've got to clean up some areas of your life, like, you're probably not ready for a partner. So like, just let it sit for a minute until you're ready. When you're ready, then start calling them in by showing yourself very authentically. Very much like you're seeing me on stream right now. Like, you know, you validate yourself, you love yourself, you are merged with your flame, your twin flame, which is your own soul. You keep fine-tuning and selecting what you want, understanding what you like, putting it out to the universe, refining it, have high standards, understand what you're attracted to, understand what you're not attracted to. I don't know if that clicked. Understand what you're not attracted to, understand what's healthy, understand what's not healthy, understand what's compatible, what's not compatible. That is my very long stream to talk about twin flames and to combat some of the codependent princess and savior narratives that are running around the internet about twin flame relationships. If you liked this, like this video, clap for me. Leave me a nice healthy comment, because I'm sure I'll get some bullshit. You know, that's what I got for you guys. I'm sure those of you that love me, will continue to love me. Anyway, that's what I got. I really hope you found this entertaining and enjoyable. Take what you love, leave the rest. As always, I am a reflection for you to refine your own ideas on what you think is possible for you, what you like, what you don't like, and for you to start getting clear with your soul and with the universe about what you are attracting. So that's what I've got. If you enjoyed this, like the video, leave a comment, sub. If you don't, peace out. Like, don't fucking talk to me. I hope I'm the biggest permission. I know I am the biggest permission slip for so many of you. Oh my gosh, I love you guys. Okay, let me skip through the comments too. I purposefully avoided them because I just wanted to make sure I said what I needed to say. I love this first comment. Get out of here. If it's cringeworthy, it's not for you. Oh, poor baby. We offended someone. A stranger on the internet in a video offended you. Get out. I don't have time for this stuff anymore. I am going to turn 37 years old in a few months. I don't have any time to people please strangers. Okay? Okay. That's what we got here. Yeah, Liz, good Lord, I just went through this with a Leo. No, thank you. Yeah, I'm like, celibacy, we'll do another thing on that. I have a lot to say about sexuality in all the ways. It's all good. It's all what you enjoy, what you want. Shelly. Shelly, I'm glad you have a wonderful partner. And Liz, I'm happy to see you in here too. I'm married and my closest mirror soul is married, not to each other, but we have telepathy and dreams. Yeah. It's like, it could be like a friend twin, a friend soulmate. I've got those. Like literally one of my buddies like communicates with me telepathically. There's nothing romantic behind it because there's the understanding of compatibility, because there's the understanding and respect of other relationships. Healthy relationships are healthy. If you have a twin that's popping in your dreams and trying to make things romantic when they are married, that's not healthy. Cut them out of your life. That is a succubus. It's not healthy. Yeah, other soulmates that have these connections with you in this deep mirroring, if it's not romantic and they're healthy about, and they should be healthy about it, it shouldn't be romantic. Like there should be respect. I think we need to teach respect and love as being like synonymous, by the way. Anything that's like love but isn't respecting is codependent. I have a lot of things to say on this. I've had to really work through codependency, as many do, right? So I can speak a lot on it because I've healed so much. Shelly, I'm skimming your comments too. Wait, somebody else was married? Oh, you turned away that day. Okay. Okay. Custom molding. My relationship is with women who aren't spiritual. Kind of sucks. I have friends like this. I just don't know this experience as much on the masculine side, but I do understand it from the perspective of one of my buddies is like that as well. I can't quite speak to it from my perspective, but take whatever I say and apply it in a way that feels good for you though. Regardless, there are women, I don't always sync it up. We need to like create like an energetic dating grid like in the collective. It's probably called the law of attraction. Anyway, thank you guys for being with me here so much. I enjoyed this immensely. I think I'm gonna go off like this more. It's really fun for me. I'm not even joking. I wasn't gonna stream today either. I was like, I'm gonna take the night off. Like, and then we end up on the phone. Oh my gosh. Thanks, Shelly. All right, you guys. I have so much love for you. Thank you for joining me in this fun Poppy stream. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.